Let's talk about how extension works when it comes to OOP and specifically Java. So first off, what extending classes is. The keyword extend is how we achieve inheritance in Java. For example, public class employee with territory extends employee. Notice that the employee with territory inherits from employee, but we add additional information. A subclass will contain extra information, an extra method, an extra attribute. Otherwise, there's no reason to create it. And it cannot reduce information. It cannot be more generic than the parent. Then it's not a child. The instance of operator is important. You can ask yourself the question in Java if an object is an instance of another object. You can ask yourself the question, is a lawyer an employee? And you would simply type in lawyer instance of employee, and it's going to return a Boolean value. When we override methods, sometimes the superclass data fields and methods are not entirely appropriate for subclass objects. Polymorphism is the idea of using different implementations of the same method in different classes. For example, you could have a sound method. A sound method for a dog would sound like a bark, and for a cat, it would sound like a meow, and for a human, it might sound like speaking. You would create a method in the child class that has the same name and parameter list as the parent class, but it's going to do something different. It is overridden. Subtype polymorphism is the ability of one method to work appropriately for different subclass objects of the same parent class. So I might have the dog example is a great one of those. A dog and cat and lion have different sounds. But you could also think of any other variety of examples of where a subtype acts different than a different subtype. When we annotate that we're going to use override, we can tell the compiler we're overriding by using the @override annotation. I'll be showing some of this in the code examples when we step into homework labs. But for now, let's talk about the superclass or the super keyword. When you instantiate an object that is a member of a subclass, you call at least two constructors. You need to call the constructor for the base class using like the super call, and you need to call the constructor for the extended class. So basically, it calls the extended class and then looks back to the superclass to initialize the attributes that are inherent to the parent. The superclass constructor must execute first, and when the superclass constructor contains a default constructor, you don't see it executing, but it still is. It's executing those super attributes to a null or zero value, whatever we're working with. When you write your own constructor, you have to replace the automatically supplied version with a constructor that either explicitly calls a superclass or assigns those values to another set of attributes within the subclass. When extending a superclass with constructors that require an argument, the subclass must provide the superclass constructor with the arguments it needs. So we have to make sure those particular boxes are filled when we're running a subclass. And so it's evident that if we use the keyword super within a subclass, we're going to call a method of the superclass. Think of the keyword this as the opposite of super within a subclass. When I use the keyword this, I'm referring to this object, the object that has the script attached, the object that's been created, as it were. And when I call super, I'm looking to the parent, and I'm saying, hey, what are you doing, or what do I need to do with you? When a parent class contains a method that is overridden, that is not overridden, the child class can use the method name with super or this, or just not use either keyword, and it's going to work. We'll stop the recording here.